I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Client Success at VHT Studios. And today I have a great pleasure to be at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices EWM Realty. And my guest is Ron Shuffield, and you are CEO of this amazing company, and you have been for a while.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here today. It's fun having you come into our offices this morning.
Thank you. I would like to talk about your history. You have very rich history. EWM is about, 57 years old?
Exactly. Yes, we were founded by three ladies in 1964. They started our company, which at that time, probably for three women, it was they were setting some real ground to build a company like ours. And they were born in 1902, 1911, and 1912. Well, then I had a partner for 30 years, and he and I bought it from them in 1984. So I've been here for the last 37 of those 57 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the three ladies really were the ones that planted the seeds that we still enjoy today. You know, high integrity. They all had their place in the company. Anna Mae Esslinger was the E in EWM. Anna Mae was the community person. She was a life member of the Chamber of Commerce, literally paid to be a life member of the Chamber of Commerce, was president of our board of realtors at the time in Coral Gables. And so she was out in the community every day. Dodie Wooten, W-O-O-T-E-N, was the W in EWM. Her father was the second physician in Miami at the turn of the last century. So she moved here as a 6-year-old girl, and then her dad had this big job in town to start a hospital. So Jackson Hospital was he was the one of the founders of that hospital. And then our last organizer, person who started our company, was Arlene Maxwell. And she had moved here from Chicago, where she had managed all the food services for Marshall Field's department stores in Chicago, which was a big job for a lady at that time. And then, as you kind of fast forward, Dodie Wooten came back from college, was the social editor for the Miami Herald, obviously grew up a more affluent lifestyle in Miami, which at that time was probably still pretty primitive, but she had a lot of friends and a lot of connections. And so that really launched our company into the luxury space. And so we were fortunate that many of the waterfront homes, probably the first $1 million plus home ever sold here, was sold by Dodie Wooten. And so we've been able just to continue to build on that reputation and the strength of what they did. So, today we have 750 associates and 11 offices from Miami to Palm Beach. And we are just very blessed and fortunate to have had that kind of beginning and the foundation that the company was built upon. And, everybody that's joined the company since has just brought more to that. And so we've continued to build on that.
That is an amazing story. And they indeed built such strong, solid foundation. And to be, like you said, in 1964, that was pretty adventurous for those women to put something like that together. I'm sure they went through lots of struggles.
They did, yes.
But I give them great credit. And now look at that, we all get to enjoy working with you, and your agents enjoying being part of your brand.
Well, we still talk about them a lot, and I think any company has its roots, and our roots are just very deep and very strong, and and very loved by our people.
Well, that brings me to the question about brand and reputation, Ron. So I've watched some of your interviews, and they're amazing. I love them. I love them. You're so alive and you're so passionate, and I think it's contagious with your agents. And one of the statements which I absolutely loved, you said, when you join our company, we are part of your brand, and you are part of ours. Something like that,
yes,
right?
Well, I know exactly because I say this all the time. We have so many wonderful people here, but I tell our brand new associates who join, every month we have somebody new joining, multiple people joining every month. And I tell them all, when you join our company, your reputation becomes mine and mine becomes yours. And that's not just when we're selling real estate, it's when we're at Publix, when we're out in the community. We're all measured and judged, I guess, by the people, by the company we keep. And so we're very proud of our people, and I think that I know that they all, have that same value system in their lives and the lives of their families at home.
Value is very important. And when I do my presentations and I talk to agents, I always say, your brand is extremely important because it's your individuality. It is you personally, what you can deliver to your clients. But what is just as equally important is the brand of the company you are joining. That is one of the reasons you are joining EWM, because you value what they have to offer. And they already invested so many resources and financial and human resources and energy and passion into building that brand. Take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
And take advantage of it and be part of the brand and be proud of.
Well, we tell everybody, add to the brand, and they have. And I am so thankful for all those who are no longer with us. Generations now of people who have carried our business card, carried our banner, and they helped us to build this brand. And we're all really keepers of the brand. Whether we're talking about the Coral Gables community or the greater Miami community or the U.S. I mean, we all are keepers of these brands. And it's our responsibility to continue to add to them and not to tarnish them.
And also, talking about your brand, you have very great support. You have amazing marketing department. I love everybody at your marketing department. Everyone is strong and eager to help agents, eager to take extra responsibilities from their shoulders and make sure that they do what they do best, which is get listings and sell listings. Your staff is so friendly and knowledgeable. All that is important. That is part of your brand.
Well, it is. And, part of that is just longevity. I mean, many of our people have been with us 15, 20, 30 years. And, you realize that people enjoy where they work when they stay that long. And that's both for associates that are, full-time commission associates, and also our staff members who serve our associates. I tell our associates all the time, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a job. We get to sell a lot of property, but our main focus is not listing the property. We always have one of our associates involved in the listing of a property, but we certainly get involved in every bit of the selling process. And you mentioned our marketing department, which we're very proud of as well. They give us the visuals, and now the social media pieces and all the front-facing side of our company. And I think that, it allows our people then to ride right alongside that brand that they've helped to nurture and in many cases to create new brands as we get into, the social media. I mean, it's a whole different style.
It's a new world
Yes.
now, all together.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to be part of that world, and sometimes I struggle. But you have to be. And actually, you do have amazing social media presence. And I love your posts. I follow you. So it's you as an EWM Realty. And I believe that they're doing a great job by spreading the word about your brand and your company. And that is making it even more attractive.
Well, it does. And, our people enjoy that too. I mean, we're all on now 24/7. So, we know that people are watching us no matter whether we're eating out or whether we're at home or what we're doing. But it's good because the consumer likes to know who they're dealing with as well. So you don't have to Google very far to find out a lot about all of us. And, we're very proud of that as well. And I think that, again, our reputations, are the most important thing to us. Warren Buffett, who is our ultimate leader, at Berkshire Hathaway, he has a saying about reputation, because his obviously is a very strong reputation and very highly regarded across the world. And he says, you can goof up, you can lose money, you can do a lot of things wrong. But he said, if you mess with my reputation, I will be ruthless. And, I think, I don't know, ruthless is pretty strong, but I think that's something good to remember. He has another saying. He says, if what you're thinking about doing, if you knew that what you were thinking about doing would appear on tomorrow morning's front page of the newspaper, would you still do it? And I think that's probably a good little checklist for people to think about too. And, most of our people never really have to think about that because they're always doing the right thing.
Right.
And
No, of course.
So much of our business today happens long before we make the sale. It's helping our customers, to understand the best way to present their properties. And, many times we're helping, to stage furnishings, repaint houses, re-landscape, all the things that we know are going to be so successful in helping them to sell in a faster period of time, and also, for the maximum value of the home. So it's no longer just salesmanship. In fact, we kind of say, the sale will take care of itself if we do everything else right.
And that brings me to another question. The smooth and positive experience for your client, regardless if your client is a buyer or a seller. It's a client of your agents and of you personally, since you are the leader at EWM Realty. I noticed in your office that you do have presence of your title company, your mortgage company. So would you say there is a trend of being one-stop shop now that you offer, like you just mentioned, staging, right? Or painting. So the agent has to be on top of it. They have to know some contractor and plumber and electrician and everybody, because when they're ready to put that house on the market, that house better be ready.
Absolutely. And exactly what you just stated, we have to be experts in a lot of fields. And I think that, we have seen that not only with, the basics of plumbers and electricians, as you mentioned, but also the mortgage and title piece of our business. Most people, whether they need a mortgage or not, ultimately like to have a mortgage, especially in today's environment where the interest rates are so low. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, this is a good business decision to do. And it's so much easier when all of these folks are part of our team. So our mortgage officers are here in our company. They're in our offices. They know our people. It's just so easy now when we sign a contract to say, okay, let me introduce you to our mortgage company. You don't have to use our mortgage company. If you have another mortgage, relationship, that's fine. But most people say, no, I would really rather you take care of all this, because there's a lot of things that are beginning to happen now, and I need to make sure I meet the deadlines. Typically, a contract will require the buyer to make an application within 5 days after signing that contract. Mm-hmm. So you want to be careful that you be careful that you get that done in 5 days. Right. And so our mortgage company helps with that. And then our title officers, same thing. They are in our offices. They help make sure that that transaction is very, very smooth as well. So, those two pieces we used to refer to as ancillary services. But for years now, we've said, no, these are the core services, right along equal with real estate. So real estate, mortgage, title, insurance. And I think those are the pieces that everybody needs to have lined up when they buy a home. So we've already thought of that.
And you already have it in-house. So yes. It's not like you're recommending someone. You have someone available right now on the spot, and who is familiar with an agent and familiar with the procedures that your company is encouraging. So I think that is very important. And what do you think about, like, the bidding wars are still continuing, and I would love your opinion on what's going to happen in 2022 with bidding wars and this frenzy that everyone in the United States has to have a house, and half of them want to have a house here in Florida.
Yes, that's true.
So the bidding war, like, is it going to continue? Is it going to be, what about new developments? Like when we met the other day at Real Deal, everyone was talking about new developments. Yes. So will that help?
Yes, it will definitely add more inventory for us. And the reason that we're having these bidding wars where people are so anxious to buy the limited inventory we have today is that we just don't have enough inventory to meet the current demand. It's pretty much across the country that we're seeing this. Our company is fortunate that we have outlets in every marketplace, from Southern California to New York to everywhere in between. Mm-hmm. So we can keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on around the country. Everybody is busy, but Florida is really growing a lot. And you look at the population growth of Florida and Texas in particular, where we're growing by over 660 people a day moving here. And we can see last year that 16 states in the United States lost population, while Florida was growing at this phenomenal rate. And the Census Bureau is a little bit late in getting out the numbers for this year, but we should have those hopefully before the end of the year to see what the current numbers. But most people expect that number of 661 to increase substantially, because mm-hmm. we just know the people that are coming here. So I think that the bidding will continue into next year. There are a lot of factors that will affect that. A rise in interest rates will probably, happen at some point. We still are at just historically low levels. So I think that everyone buying today recognizes that this may be my opportunity, once in a decade or whatever, mm-hmm. to go ahead and purchase. So people are feeling comfortable with paying more. I think in our case, we've been undervalued for a long time. I mean, mm-hmm. probably forever. When you look at what gives any community value, it's just the sheer demand of numbers of people that want a limited supply of what you're selling. New York has been always, 4 times our price in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Manhattan prices have dropped. They're still above
but
ours.
They're still there.
Yeah, they're still there. They're still not inexpensive. Southern California, the same thing, is still, very expensive compared to our market. And, Washington, D.C., other markets that are more expensive than Miami. But I think now that the consumer has had an opportunity to really thoroughly examine what we are offering here, they're saying, my goodness, why didn't I do this a long time ago? I mean,
I know I'm one of them.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. But I mean, it starts with taxes. I mean, that's where it started.
I was going to mention the taxes here. And as a matter of fact, my daughter and my son-in-law are moving from San Diego, California to Miami. And one of the biggest reasons, taxes.
Well, I've had people move from Southern California, from New York, because the taxes in Manhattan, the taxes in California are very similar. You're paying about an extra 13% of your income to those 2 states, or the city government in New York's case. But what people now have recognized, especially very wealthy people, I mean, if you're running a business, a hedge fund, however your income is coming, if you're making $10 million a year, which is not uncommon for many of the people we're working with today, you're paying another 13%. That's $1.3 million in tax that you're paying somewhere else, that as soon as you move to Florida, you don't pay that. And I've had multiple buyers of these luxury properties that we're selling say, Ron, this house is not costing me anything. And so I said, well, how is that? He says, I'm saving over $1 million a year in free cash flow that I can now apply to maintaining this new home. And it's pretty much that simple. And of course, I think another thing that's a real draw for our community is the diversity of our people. I've lived here for 45 years. Mm-hmm. And when I moved here, we were going through a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of, drug trafficking and things back 35, 40 years ago. That's all gone now. And you talk about that today and people say, that could have never happened. Well, it did happen. But what is now drawing people is the diversity of all these people that are here. When you look at the fact that our company speaks 22 languages, I grew up in Tennessee. I mean, we didn't speak 22 languages.
You still have Tennessee accent, by the way.
I still have it. Yeah. I go home to visit, and it comes back real fast, even stronger. But I think that, when you just look at the fact that we have people from literally all over the world, you can experience the entire globe from one location here. And so I think that when people get here, they get off the plane, they find their language here, they find their religion here, they find their culture here.
They find a real estate agent who can relate to them and
Absolutely.
Who can explain the area they're moving in, what restaurants to go to, what kind of schools they have. Right?
Absolutely. And all the above. And, we have 3 grown children and, they're all bilingual in Spanish. They probably would not have had that had they not grown up here. Mm-hmm. And of course, they have embraced the world, like everybody else here. And it's exciting. We had a pastor of our church one time that said he always thought that God was calling him to be a missionary to a foreign country. And he said not until he moved to Miami did he realize that God had brought the foreign mission field to him. And, I think that we could all say that in whatever business we're in, but it's made it very exciting. I mean, my wife and I have friends that were born in many other different countries. And of course, we've been able to experience those, fun relationships for many, many years now. And, the foods different foods that brings and, all the different cultural changes and differences. So it's an exciting place to be. And now that the whole world has found it, we're kind of like thinking, okay, well, where are we going to put all these people? And, but, condominiums have become the new product. Condominiums during the pandemic were tough because, we were closing down elevators, we were closing down swimming pools and meeting rooms, and people living in condos suddenly lost everything that they had purchased. I mean, it was like, wait a minute, we bought here because we wanted to enjoy all these amenities and now we can't use them. Mm-hmm. And after several months of that, it took a toll. I mean, we couldn't even show condominiums in some buildings because, the rules were that we don't know where this pandemic is going and no outsiders in the building. And boy, what a difference today, though. I mean, the third quarter, and you'll see in our insight report for the third quarter, that the condos are really the story now. Our values are increasing. We're also now having some bidding wars in some of our condos. Many of our condominium buyers are buying multiple units and combining them so they can have larger apartments. So I think you're going to continue to see larger apartments, especially in the more affluent markets. So anyway, it's fun to watch how this ebbs and flows, but single family is still kind of the king because that is in very limited supply. You know, when you think about Miami, when you leave the ocean shore and you drive west to the Everglades, you only have 18 miles of dry land. So that's pretty much from here to Palm Beach, that east to west. And so we've built on pretty much all of that area. So to find a new brand new single family home, you almost have to tear one down to build a new one now. And so that's going to continue to drive the prices for single family. But we have many more new opportunities for condos because we can put 300 condominium units on 1 acre versus one house. So I think many people now have appreciated that lifestyle as well. We have many families that are now living in multifamily settings, which we didn't have before. You know, New York has always had that.
Yes, exactly.
You know, I mean, people, you know, my age, you know, grew up in New York City, went to elementary school in the city. You know, they just don't think anything about living in that multifamily setting. Well, this next generation in Miami is going to be, they're going to feel the very same way because they're really enjoying living in this, you know, these settings. You know, I'm telling many of our developers today, they're designing these new buildings. You know, whatever number of 3-bedroom units you have designed, double it because we have great demand now for larger apartments, especially, you know, 3- and 4-bedroom apartments.
Exactly, and especially since there are quite a few people still working from home, you have to have at least 3-bedroom.
Yes.
And so if you have an office, your wife or your husband has an office, you have your own bedroom. So here is your 3-bedroom. And right now we noticed, so we are in Fort Lauderdale, and we noticed that there are quite a few rental buildings are coming up, like whole cities of rental.
Yes. And, you know, I predict that many of those buildings will probably be converted one day to condominiums because we've seen conversions like that in the past. But, you know, the entry of rental buildings was very easy because, you know, the investment capital was there for those. And those happened much faster. They could say, okay, we're going to start this building today. We don't need pre-sales. We know the market is here. Let's just build it as fast as we can. And when it's finished, then we'll fill it with people and we'll have a solid investment and everybody will be happy and we keep moving forward. But, you know, we like to tell everybody at some point in your life, though, you know, you need to think about buying because, you know, that's where people really gain equity. And we have so many wonderful stories of young families who are, you know, good jobs, but, you know, they're not the zillionaires we were talking about earlier. And they have maybe started with a townhome or a condominium, and they live there for 5 or 10 years, and they watch the growth of value there. And then they take the new equity that they've built up in that condominium, which has been earning for them every day that they've lived there. Then they then plow that back into a new purchase of either a larger condominium or a home. So.
Yeah, and also, if you look at it from the rental point of view, sometimes if someone moves from California to Florida and there is nothing to buy because there is no inventory, you have to rent. And very often, for example, in our case, we just want to understand where exactly we would like to settle.
That's exactly what everybody says. And I think that's wise because, you know, you want to feel comfortable that where you are spending your first year or so in Florida is where you want to be. And you'll meet people and you'll find, oh, the new friends I'm making, they all live over here or they live over there. And so that's a wise decision. But many of those folks, you know, they've been here for a year and even 2 years. And so that's where a lot of our buyers are coming from.
Exactly.
Well.
Yeah. So we are ready to do the real search in March.
Okay. Well, I won't forget that. I'll call you back in March.
Please. What would make your company different from others? Competition is incredible in Florida. I think every other human being here over 18 has the license, and now you have more realtors coming from all over the country to join the crowd. So how do you create that environment that everyone wants to be part of your company?
Well, you know, before I answer that question, we tease about the fact that if you get stopped for speeding on the Florida Turnpike, they ask for your real estate license first because more people have those.
Love it.
So, and I certainly encourage anybody to get a real estate license. But there are a lot of folks with a license that don't really sell any real estate.
And they don't really deserve to have the license.
But I think the reason people have come to us all these, 57 years is the culture. I mean, that's really the first reason. And now today, it's the ability to market worldwide. We have our brand all over the world now. Fortune magazine refers to us in their surveys as the third most admired brand in the world, and it's I think Apple is first, Amazon is second, and then Berkshire Hathaway is third.
Yeah,
so Fortune
here you are, Apple, Amazon, and Berkshire Hathaway.
And then
Walt Disney.
And then Disney
after you.
After us, exactly. So the Berkshire Hathaway brand obviously is a household name in a lot of different sectors. We do a lot of things in the real estate sector as well. I mean, we're a large manufacturer of carpeting. We own Benjamin Moore Paint. So we've always been involved in this industry. But Warren Buffett just got into our business in 1999. So it's kind of new to Berkshire Hathaway, but it's grown extremely fast because people admire the brand. We're the largest real estate brokerage in America now, selling more units of homes than any of our competitors, which is now approaching 1,000 sales a day of single-family homes, plus a large amount of commercial business. We have a commercial division within our company, so we're selling commercial properties. We're leasing large commercial spaces to offices and retail stores and everybody in between. But the number one thing that people are looking for is a comfortable place where they can collaborate with other people that have the same mindset and eagerness to serve their customers. And in our company, we believe that our role is to support our associates. And marketing is one of the first pieces that everybody needs. I mean, we need to be able to present our properties in a manner that is exciting and enticing for the consumer. So we have a full marketing department. These men and women are so creative, and I mean, they're all behind Mac computer screens all day long, and I don't know how they keep coming up with new clever ideas
and directions and strategies.
But they do, and Lee Casey is our vice president that manages all of that for us, and and it's not just drawing anymore; it's all the creative side of the technology, and we have lots of ways now of reaching the consumer with geofencing and all these different terms that are now a mainstay in our business. But I think too, the fact that our people just understand what's needed. It's like we were talking earlier in our business. We've earned our commission before the first customer sees the property because we're helping people prepare their properties. And I know that a lot of sellers are really stressed by that because they know they need to do something. We've lived here for 25 years. We haven't changed the wallpaper. We haven't painted. We haven't done really anything. And we're willing to do this, but we need somebody to guide us. And all of our people have become designers and landscapers and all these different components. And then, of course, the marketing is a big piece of that. But then we also need legal help. We have full-time legal support in the company. And
your mortgage and your title.
Mortgage and title.
So it's all together. So it is, as much as I don't like that expression, one-stop shop.
Yeah, it is.
But it is.
It is, absolutely.
And it's a positive way about it.
Well, and I think in the early days, when we've had a mortgage company and title company for many, many years. But over the last decade, it has gotten very strong. And most of that is due to Berkshire Hathaway because we own our mortgage company, we own our title company, so we're not partnering with someone else. So, if we know we're going to have a challenge with the financing, then our people are right here in the office, and so we say, okay, well, this customer has this challenge. They just moved here from another country. They don't really have the kind of credit that we need yet. We need to help them figure out how to do this. And Miami probably does have some of the more challenging purchases because our people are coming from all over the world. I mean,
you have a strong international community.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, just the wire transfers. I mean, the help that our accounting department gives and tracking down wire transfers and. Some days, those may be extending a full day or lobbing over into the next day. So we're having to do some research to find, well, where is the money? And so anyway, it's all fun though.
It's all fun and good. And last question, Ron, what would you wish to newcomers, to someone who is just entering the industry? How would you like to share your experience and what you would like to reach them?
Well, I tell everybody, find a mentor, find multiple mentors. I think there's so much, so much information in that one statement. And I think with a company like ours, you're going to be not only exposed to the finest marketing, the finest people, and now a world of people who are sharing, our business cards to send us business. One great story is about a month ago, we opened an office in New Delhi, India.
Uh-huh.
I've never been to New Delhi,
No.
but I get a call from one of our folks at HomeServices, and they say, well, in New Delhi, they're going to have a half a day celebration to announce that they have joined our brand. And so I thought, wow, half a day, boy, these people know how to party, So they started with a lunch and they ended with a midnight dinner. And in between, they had a big stage and an auditorium, and they had different people that they were interviewing. And they asked me to be one of the people that got to talk. So I could see myself on probably a 30-foot screen on a stage, and I'm just sitting in front of my computer, and I'm talking about the fact that we do business internationally. But it was a fun interchange. There were only 4 other brokerages from around the world. A friend of mine from London, and his company, and me. We were the only ones from the United States. So after the call, I called our contact with our communications department at Berkshire, and I said, I'm just curious, thank you for inviting me. It was fun today, but why did you choose us? He said, well, they requested you. And so I said, oh, well, what do you mean? They said, well, they wanted somebody from Miami. They don't know me. They didn't know our company other than we were here. And so now we have a new friend that we're going to now begin to develop relationships with. We have referrals going every day here. I mean, we're closing I shouldn't jinx it, but we're working on a $30 million referral today that came from one of our U.S. brokers. But those kind of exchanges are happening all the time among 50,000 associates in our company, and so that's been fun. We have a national or an international convention every year, so we're going to have that.
Yeah, we are part of your convention.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so last one was in Nashville.
I see you there. Yeah, that's right. And everybody had a lot of fun there. So we'll probably have close to 100 people attend that. So.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Ron. It was an amazing interview with you.
Well,
I loved it. What a great energy you have. So really appreciate
thank you. Thanks for including us. I know you do such great work and have for years. And I mean, getting our message out is the most important part. I mean, if people don't know we're here, then we'll never have a chance to reach them. But you're spreading our message further and further. So
absolutely.
We appreciate that. And I'm not going to forget, next March, we're going to call you before March and say, okay, we have the perfect home for you.
Absolutely. And we are going to stay around Fort Lauderdale, and you have a great office there.
Oh, we do.
And I've been there before, so yes.
Right there in Las Olas.
Yep, exactly.
All right, well.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank
you so much.
Have a good holiday season.
Yeah. All the best to you and your family, your EWM Realty family.
Thank you.